have you had any communications with the HSE on their use of your report? Because obviously they have sat in health committees, which is, as we have covered, a statutory session, and it is now on the record of the Dáil, and said that the reason for closure is your reports. So have you had any correspondence about their use of your reports? I just want to be clear.
No.
You have never contacted the HSE about their use of your reports?
I'd have to check it, but I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. And so that, I presume that means that then you have no concerns?
You see, we publish the reports to create a transparency. What the providers, how the providers use that, because then you're just going to get into communications wars.
Well, okay, no, I have a couple of other questions, sorry, Chair, and I don't want to get in a big back and forth. That does, to me, seem a remarkable position for a body that's tasked with protecting people in this regard. I would just want to follow up on, I just want to get clarity, because obviously we were talking about enforcement, and then in your responses to other deputies you said if we did do something in this area, or potential regulatory enforcement action was the reason. So I just want to get full clarity. Is it a potential regulatory enforcement, or is an enforcement in train, in process?
We're looking at the information all the time.
No.
All the time.
An enforcement is a legal process, surely. So there's a commencement date. So if I am a restaurant and somebody enforces some health and safety thing, I am notified. Is there a date whereby Oireachtas has been notified, or sorry, the HSE have been notified? Is that in train? Is that in place? It's not potential, it's in place.
There's an evolving situation where they can challenge us at any time, and there is something in place that they have a right to respond to.
Have you notified them, not
Yes.
an evolve, you have notified them that there is an action in place against them?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. How many enforcement actions are you currently undertaking in relation to congregated settings?
We don't have, I wouldn't have the full number of them. I mean, our enforcement actions range from warning letters, immediate action notices, right up the way to prosecution and the threat of deregistration.
Okay, would you undertake to give a note to the committee on that? I'd like to know how many enforcement actions in relation to Cork as a particular area, but more generally as your operations are, how many live enforcements and notices? Okay. And then I guess finally, just in terms of, I want to return to Deputy Cairns' point around consistency with reports. And again, I don't want to hark on the point of, you know, kind of writing a report and then you're not responsible after what happens. But I do want to look at the issues around consistency and the implications of report findings. You'll be aware that the HSE has repeatedly made reference to concerns raised in your inspection reports in 2021 on Oireachtas around the size of some of the rooms. And obviously as an architect who worked in healthcare's particular interest to me was one of the key reasons why the service had to close and the building just wasn't usable. And yet, when I looked into this further through FOIs and PQs, it turns out that each of the rooms in a service in Skibbereen known as Sale Nua is smaller than each of the rooms in Oireachtas. But you haven't raised any concerns around room size in your last available inspection report on Sale Nua. And it's even more confusing because in an inspection report for Oireachtas you stated in 2017 that residents had ample personal space. And this was at a time when some residents were sharing rooms, and there was 24 residents there, and obviously that's nowhere near the case in 2020, 2021. And I also note the many concerns, obviously, and we've discussed them already, that you raise about wards in St. Stephen's Hospital, and you tend not to mention the fact in those reports that residents are sharing rooms and the obvious privacy and dignity issues that go with that. So now we have Oireachtas residents being told, with reference to your reports, that they'd be better off moving from a single room in a town centre location to a shared dorm in a very remote long stay ward. I actually went and visited St. Stephen's Hospital, so I understood what we were talking about, and I find it very remote. Could I put it to you that your report concerns seem remarkably inconsistent, and you don't seem to be willing to engage with that, and they can be used and interpreted by the HSE in any way they choose to justify closures and any other action that they want to take?
So our reports are, we do like hundreds of reports every year about approved centres all over Ireland. They're consistent, there's a framework, there's a judgment, and they're consistent.
Okay, but Mr. Farrelly, I'm pointing out inconsistencies to you.
Yeah, but I mean, you're saying there are inconsistencies. Like, for example,
are you saying that I'm incorrect in that inconsistency?
Well, you're attributing things, commentary to us that we've never made.
No, this isn't commentary. This is this is counting.
Okay, so
a room is one size and it's not another size. It's not interpretive. It's counting.
So can I answer the question then? Sale Nua.
It's a supervised residence.
We don't regulate Sale Nua.
Well, there's an inspection report from you.
We have, that was part of our rolling three-year programme for inspections. But we don't regulate Sale Nua.
Okay, so how many other buildings, such as St. Stephen's Hospital, would comply with the room sizes that you ascribed to being unsatisfactory in Oireachtas?
Yeah, there are a number, but I wouldn't...
Almost all of them, by my reckoning.
Sorry, explain what you're saying.
Sorry.
Most of the rooms in St. Stephen's do not comply with the room sizes that you're implying are unfit for purpose in Oireachtas. There's no consistency there, and you're not. And I noticed in your discussion of St. Stephen's, you rarely refer to the fact that residents are sharing rooms. Now we know that some of the residents from Oireachtas have been moved not just to other facilities, but also to nursing homes where they're sharing rooms.
So just
would you take the point that there's inconsistency there?
Could I just advise that we, in court, have got undertakings from the HSE. By going to court, we've got undertakings to replace St. Stephen's. So I don't want to give anyone the impression we're happy with St. Stephen's. Or
you're not closing St. Stephen's, are you?
But we're not closing Oireachtas.
Yeah, exactly. But Oireachtas is closing. And we are being told as members of the Oireachtas that that's based on your report.
We're not closing Oireachtas. As I've explained to you, can I just finish?
The authority who is closing it is using and I have to say it's kind of worrying that you're saying, we write hundreds of reports. Here is a report that is being used in a very specific way, and I would suggest for your own body it's quite important that you take ownership of the way your reports are being used if you're putting hundreds of them out into the world every year. We are being told at committee that the reason a congregated setting is being closed in the manner that it's being closed and having a detrimental impact on the lives of people in a very real way is because of your report. Is that not the case?
So just to be clear, I think you've been told lots of things by the HSE as to why they are closing Oireachtas. Also, can I say, we have dramatically changed the lives of thousands of people in Ireland through
Mr.
our
Farley,
do you take
no, because I would like, I have to finish up and I have minimal, but can you take responsibility for the use of your reports by the HSE?
I can take responsibility that the reports from the Mental Health Commission have generated new centres in Galway, in Waterford, in Cork, all over the country for people that were living in dilapidated settings. That's the work of the Commission and the reports of the Commission. I can bring you down to Waterford and show you people
and it has led to the closure of Oireachtas. And no, I am out of time. And unfortunately, and I would like actually to go back, Ms. Finnerty, to Sale Nua, because I am under the impression that you did do an inspection there, yes? Okay,
yeah, we did.
I just wanted to be clear there.
It wasn't, yes.
But we don't regulate it.
But not a
fine, but you did do an inspection and wrote a report.
Yes.
So sorry, if you do an inspection and write a report and you're not regulating, you really are not taking responsibility for the impact of that report then, is it? You're publishing that report publicly, but you're saying, oh, well, we don't regulate Sale Nua.
Yeah, we do
That's
request...
extraordinary,
sorry,
is it?
Can you just let witness reply, please?
We request a quality improvement plan. That's as much as we can do for the 24-hour residences. And we have called repeatedly year after year after year for regulation of those centres. And now it looks like it's going to happen, but we have...
Well, I have to say I was very, very supportive of that idea at the review, the pre-legislative scrutiny of that suggestion in terms of broadening your powers, not based on this session, because I don't see that you're using your powers very well currently when it comes to that particular...
I'm not sure you understand our powers fully. I'm not sure.
Right, Mr. Farley, well, that's an interesting line to take.